on the phone, I don't wanna know unless it's about numbers. Please don't hit me for the flex, I only want the text if it's about numbers. So my time's coming, G, don't even worry about the numbers. But I'm running to the numbers.
He needs this. Go out today and apply that. Telling is not selling. Yo, my people, it's your boy Trist Taylor, crap cutter, sales master, and this is the first episode of Telling is Not Selling. Now, each and every week, what we go through is quite simple. It is the gems, the keys for you to close your sale, cut the crap, and get to the money with your client. However, the reason why most salespeople don't, because they don't know how to cut the crap. So what I'll be going over this week is very, very important. The first part of a call with a prospect is how to grab your prospect's attention in the first 10 seconds. Write that down. Okay, now, something that's very, very important for me to know. Humans make decisions within 3 to 5 seconds. Write that down. Very important you're aware of that, because if you are aware of that, whether you're building a brand or a business or you're selling over the phone or face to face, you will be aware that you get one chance to make a first impression. So it's very important that those first 3 to 5 seconds are done properly. Now, an analogy that always stayed in my head that was said to me many, many moons ago. When police do police raids, not something I've experienced, but something we've all seen on TV. They don't come in, knock on the door and say, hey, can I come in just to talk to you about XYZ? No, they go, bang, through the door, get out. Then they start talking to you calmly, ask you where you was on XYZ day, why this happened and why that happened. Now, what I want you to realize from that does not mean that in every call you jump on, that you come in the call shouting. But the first thing I want you to jot down that is very, very important in the first 5 to 10 seconds of a sales call is to be enthusiastic as you can. Now, the reason why I want you to write that down, I want you to also write this down, is the definition of a sale is a transfer of enthusiasm. Now, many people will tell you different things. There's very many different ideas on what a sale is and what a sale is about. But when we cut the crap and we achieve our sales, which is something I've been doing for the last decade, we make sure we are enthusiastic and transferring our enthusiasm. So right now, I'm transferring it to you over this camera, and on a telephone, I'll do exactly the same. In a meeting, online, social media, whatever it is, we transfer enthusiasm. So that's the first point. Very important to transfer enthusiasm. Secondly, I want you to write this down, is to be a figure of authority. Now let me elaborate on that. Very important that you understand that when you are getting into sales, people don't want to speak to the person who is not in the know. Why? Because what people want when they have a problem, because effectively a good sale is solving a problem, right? What people want when they're in that position is someone who's going to solve their problem. People who solve problems are people who are figures of authority. We are trained as kids from nursery, school, college, jobs to follow authority. So therefore that means if we are in a position where someone is guiding us, we want to know that we are being guided by someone in an authoritative position. So the way you give across authority, again, telling is not selling. It's not by saying, hey, look at me, I'm a figure of authority, I work for this company and I'm an authoritative member. No. Authority comes across in the way you carry yourself. And that comes across in your tonality, which is the body language that we can't see. Yeah. Now, tonality is something we'll save for another day, and I'll go through in massive depth. So make sure you stay subscribed and you look out for that episode. But today, what we're going to go through is why it's important to use your tonality in the first 5 to 10 seconds, because what you will create is instantly a picture in your prospect's head. Because that's what prospects are doing. Prospects are sitting there straight away in the first 3 to 5 seconds from your hello. They are working out, is this someone I want to talk to? Can they solve a problem? Am I in the mood? That's a fact. So, you know when Beyonce says you had me at hello? A successful salesperson will have you at hello. And the third thing, which is very important for them to know, and what they're judging you based off of in those first 5 to 10 seconds is, can you solve my problem? Now, what I want you guys to understand, how can someone know that before you've presented anything to them? They don't know who you are or who your company are. All they have at the moment is, hi, my name's Trist, I'm calling on behalf of XYZ and the reason for the call. That's when they make their first judgment if they want to continue with this call. So what do you have to make sure you do? You have to make sure that firstly, the first thing I want you to jot down, so that's a set of 3, let's put those 3 to the side, yeah? Now this is the first thing I want you to jot down. Engaging opening statement. Very, very important. Now, what I mean by that, let me elaborate. Hello there, my name's Trist. I'm calling on behalf of Tyra Creative. The reason for the call. Now, when you hear that tone, the reason for the call, that's utilizing the tone and dropping it down. But what does that create? That creates a sense of intrigueness. You're intrigued, right? I know intrigueness isn't a word, but you're intrigued. You're intrigued by the fact that I've said the reason for the call in a very intrigued tone. If you notice, the way that I give across that tonality is my body language. Because tonality is the body language you can't see. But when you are good at sales and you've mastered sales, you will give that tonality across even when they can't see you. The same way I do this, because I'm giving it across. So the reason for the call, intrigued now, engaged, is you had shown an interest. So you don't want it to sound robotic. What an amateur would do is say, look, my name is Trist. The reason for the call is because you showed dead, robotic. No one wants that. You are now out of alignment with your prospect because they are busy and you've just sounded like a robot. You've not engaged them. So my first key to grabbing attention is an engaging opening statement. Now, if you are listening and you are not picking up a phone, but you are selling through your business, the same thing. AIDA, we've all heard this terminology before. I've not made it up. Attention, interest, decision, action. From your A is grab the attention. That is a job of a marketer and a job of a salesman. Now, I want you to remember, if you are grabbing attention, there's ways to do it. Tonality is one. Very, very important. Jot that down. Let me know when you've got it. Now, the way you're going to also grab the energy and the way you're also going to start with an engaging opening statement is by what? Sounding confident. How do you sound confident? Don't fumble your lines. Do not fumble your lines. If you are reading from a script, you want to learn that script in flow. So you don't have to be, hello, my name is, no. Scripts are skeletons. Scripts are amazing and they're important, but they're skeletons. All they are is skeletons, and your job as a salesperson is to put the muscle on, the character, the va-va-voom, the pizzazz, the sauce. That's got to come from you. And where that comes is by small things like adjusting words. So for example, for you saying, my name is Trist and I'm really calling because no. Hey, is that John? You're always going to hear John. It's always going to be a typical name. Do you know what? Maybe we'll change it for cut the crap, actually. Maybe it'll be Jamie. Hey, is that Jamie? Okay. Jamie, it's just Trist. Now, the reason I say it's just Trist is because that implies to Jamie that he knows me from somewhere. Yeah, he doesn't know me from anywhere, but it leads him to stay engaged and start thinking where he knows me from and what this call could be to do with. It means that he doesn't bring his barrier up and shut me out straight away. He stays on the call, which is the most important aim in the first 10 seconds. Keep them in the call. Now, for me, and take this with a pinch of salt, sales is like a boxing match, yeah? When I used to be on the phones with the headset, I used to always go around and do shadow boxing because it's you versus the opponent. Now, I don't mean that violently or aggressively, because what you never want to do is do a forceful sell or a pushy sell. No one wants that, no one likes that, and it's unethical. And if you're mastered a skill and you're a skilled salesman, you don't ever need to do that. However, the reason I say it's boxing is because at the same time, what you do want to understand is that you need to keep that person in the ring, here. You need to keep them here at all times, in this space here. When they go there or they go there, they are out of your peripheral and you cannot close them. And that is your job, right? Okay, so the reason for the call, I can see that you were looking, and what I often do is I act it out. So I can see that you showed an interest. Now, even though it sounds like to someone who's amateur, but you sound like you don't know what you're talking about. No, 100% know what I'm talking about. However, I'm making it naturally flow. So what I'm saying is I can see that you showed an interest in improving, and you always want to use a line that they would obviously agree with. You don't want to say, I can see that you wanted someone to give you a call. No, they didn't want no one to give them a call. I can see that you wanted to speak to a marketing company. They didn't want to speak to a marketing company. They wanted to make more money. That's what they want. Cut the crap. They just wanted to make more money. So what you need to do is speak the language of your prospects. Same when you're building a brand. So I can see that you had shown an interest in making more money from your business. Now, bear in mind, they never said that. And what they filled out didn't say that either. They might have filled out an ad or showed an interest or liked a post that basically said about, is your marketing lacking? Is there room for improvement with your marketing or your branding or whatever? But what you do is you tell them, because this is where you tell them, but you're going to sell it after. Telling's not selling. You tell them that I can see you showed an interest in wanting to make more money from your business. Now, 9 out of 10 times, what is someone who runs a business going to say to that? 9 out of 10 times they're going to say yes, because they did. And if they say no, what is that? not your client. Now, that's a hashtag we're going to use throughout these series, because if they say no to not wanting to make more money, then you are already on a back foot in the boxing terminology that I gave, and that puts you at a massive disadvantage because you want to speak to people that want to make money, right? If someone is being difficult, let's say they're just joking and they're being difficult and they're saying they don't want to make money because they don't want you on the phone, you already don't want to speak to this person because now you're trying to polish a turn. You want someone who's going to at least say, well, yeah, I do want to make money. Brilliant, I thought as much. So look, let me tell you a bit more about what we do before I do that, yeah? So this is very important now. Before I do that, this is what I do. So bear in mind, number one, what I had said to you before, number one was making sure you start with an engaging opening, yeah? You grab attention, yeah? Number two is some form of call to action. Now, the reason I do a call to action is because for you to know if you're speaking to the right person, and we go through this in the prospects episode, you want three aspects here to be fulfilled. You want them to be a decision maker, liquid, and some form of respect and control. If they don't respect you or you can't control this call, not them, but the call, very important that you notice the difference, then you're already at a disadvantage and you probably should not be trying to close this person. Now, for me, as much as I'm very, very good at what I do, I only close those that are closable and need what I am selling. I never force my product onto someone that doesn't need it. So if they're not one of those, you need to take note of that and go back to basics and realize you're not meant to be speaking to this person. However, if they go with you, this is where you're going to have a real test to work out if there's that control. So firstly, decision maker and liquid will come through later. But what you can do at this point is find out if there's any element of control and if they're engaged with you and if it's the right time to pitch them. So what you can do by doing that is a call to action. All right, no problem. So you did, so we'll go back to what I just said. So just to confirm, you did obviously agree that you wanted to make more money from your business, right? Yes, I did. Okay, brilliant. I thought as much. Now look, remember, tonality is so key. You want your tonality to be not salesy. Hello there, John, I'm calling on behalf of... No, dead. Cut the crap. Hi there, John. Listen to that. John, as in, is that you? Sorry, Jamie, is that you? That tone, that's what the tonality says. Is that you? It is. Brilliant. Jamie, it's just Trist. The reason for the call, so Jamie, is that you? That's the tone of a question. Is that you? You're curious. It is. Okay, brilliant. It's just Jamie. Jamie. It's just Trist. Just Trist. Normal, casual tone, easy. You get it? It's just Trist. I'm calling him out for Tyra Creative. You may not even want to say who you're calling him out of yet, but I would say it. Yeah. Call him out, and the reason why you may not want to is because you may want to keep it even more relatable at this point. Call him out for Tyra Creative. The reason for the call, switch the tone, because it sounds like it implies that they, number one, need this call, asked for this call, or it's a call that they should be engaged in. I know that you had said that you, and look, when you say I know that you had said, you may not even mention where, you may have to because they might think who the hell is this and get cold calls all the time, but they may not. And you may be able to say, I know that you said that you wanted to make more money from your business. Now, there may be a conversation they had earlier that day, yesterday, last week, where they said they wanted to make more money from the business. How many entrepreneurs want to make more money from their business? It's something most people talk about, right? So it's something their brain is going to automatically say, yeah. And you might then get but who's this? No problem. I was just going to tell you, and this brings me on to my number 2, call to action. I was just going to tell you, have you got a pen and paper at hand, or do you want to hold while you grab one? Very, very important part of the opening call. Let me tell you why. If they're on the move, if they're multitasking, what do you not have from them? Attention. Before you get to action in the AIDA acronym, you need attention. Your main thing here is attention. Attention does not mean that they are just on the phone, because I could pick up the phone right now and be doing 100 other things. And you might not be listening to me engage in this right now, which means I haven't got your attention. Now I have. So what you want to always do is you want to make sure you have their attention. So grabbing a pen and piece of paper means what? Means you isolate their attention. So now they will go and get it. So number 1, you've got their sole attention. But number 2, they've done what you asked from them. Now, very key, because you could mess this up. And the way you could mess this up, I was going to say F this up, is what you could end up doing is by showing too much authority and saying, grab a pen and piece of paper, bring it to the phone, and they may turn around and say, who the hell are you talking to? And put down the phone. Now you can't close the client because they're not on the phone anymore. So what you want to do is be careful with your tone. Very important. No problem. Look, have you noticed my hesitation? Have you got a pen and paper at hand? So that's just a nice, gentle question. Have you got a pen and paper at hand? Or do you need me to hold while you grab one? So that is a close, which we'll go through way later on, yeah? So stay tuned with us. But that is a closing question because you asked them if they've got one, but if you just said this, let me give you an example. Have you got a pen and paper at hand? No, I haven't. And you know what? I'm actually busy, which will happen because the brain always follows up. So if you say yes, yes, yes 3 times, you're probably going to say it the 4th time. If I ask you, are you happy? Yes. Would you say that life is good? Yes. All right, would you say that you want to get marketing solutions? Yes. I mean, because your brain is in the process of yes. The power of freeze, which we'll go through again later on. So, however, let me actually stay on the power of freeze. In this opening segment, if you can get 3 agreements, you are off to a great start. So, hi, is that John? Yeah, brilliant. John, the reason for the call, Jamie, the reason for the call is I know that you had said that you were looking into, now look at this energy. It looks like you said it to me the other day, I remember. Almost like we spoke before. And they might think, when did I say that to this guy? Have I spoke to this guy before? I think this was the guy who, or was this the guy who... Now, in my days in high ticket sales, sometimes I would pick up the phone, say that, and the client would think, or the prospect would think, that they're speaking to someone else who they spoke to. Then they'd realize a few minutes later they're not, but they're already far in the call now, and they almost feel embarrassed to go. But now, because I've presented such a good presentation, got their attention on the way to close, yeah? So bear in mind, number 2, call to action. Have you got a pen and paper? How do you need to hold where you grab one? Now, so for example, you may get now's not a good time. We'll deal with all those objections later. For now, we're talking about how to get through the door. So we've got someone who grabs it. Brilliant, no problem. If you want to just jot down my name, Trist, why'd you do that? Because now the brain is associating themselves with a name. They remember the name because it's always good to write things rather than type. So when I teach affirmations, I always say, write this rather than type this because your brain connects with the process of writing, right? So when you're writing it, they remember the name. Then write your company. They remember the company. You could even be cheekier and say, my company or my advisor, Trist. So they've wrote down on that paper, my advisor. Now, when they come off this call, every prospect goes colder and colder and colder day by day. But if they've got it written down that you are their advisor, that's something they're going to remember, right? Of course it is. Okay, brilliant. So they've got the pen and paper. So now what you want to do is you want to start presenting. Now, another important factor for number 3, you want to avoid using jargon and terminologies that they don't know. Cut the crap. If you say, you inquired online about marketing solutions through the website, that was da-da-da-da-da-da, they may not know or even acknowledge that because they may have been recommended by a friend, they might have saw it on an advert, they might have just seen it in passing. They may not remember that. But what they will remember is that they needed to make more money from their company. Everyone remembers this. Everyone remembers this. Number 3, don't use jargon, cut the crap. Very, very, very simple. Cut the crap. Now, what I'm going to do, so that's 3 aspects and 3 aspects you're looking for. What we're going to do, telling's not selling, right? So I'm going to jump on a call. I've got a whole load of leads that have shown interest in, like I just said, not marketing solutions, but making more money from their business. They don't know that they need marketing solutions. They don't know who I am or my company is. I mean, I hope they do, but they don't, yeah? So they're cold to warm. I'd say cold. They're cold calls, but they've shown an interest, so they're softly warm, yeah? I'm going to show you an example of a call. It may go great, it may not. But at the end of the day, it's just cut the crap, and what I want is authenticity. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit and break down the bits so you get what I've just explained. And by the end of this first episode, you are going to leave this episode with not only gems, but actionable steps for you to actually know how this works and implement it in your day today.